Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Lately I've been busy with a few things. One of them is that I decided to learn about game development. For a whole week, I've been reading, watching, and researching as much as I can about making games. In this video, I will go over what I learned and how you can start making your own games. I will say that I don't have any experience in making games or coding for games, and I was able to make something like this. All this stuff is new to me, it's just a topic I'm interested in and I wanted to learn more about it. So here we go. Right now there are two major game engines or programs to create games. There's Unity and Unreal Engine. I decided to go with Unreal Engine. I might make a video on why I chose Unreal, but after choosing a game engine, I went to the Unreal Engine website to download it. Both Unity and Unreal are free to use, so you can choose whichever one you want. For Unreal, you will need the Epic Games launcher. I already had it installed, so I just needed to install Unreal Engine, and that was pretty simple and easy. It was just like installing any other game from the Epic Games launcher. While Unreal was getting installed, I looked at the assets in the marketplace, and I found this tutorial project that was completely free. It's called Unreal Engine Hour of Code. I downloaded it, and it came with a PDF with instructions. This project was made for teachers to teach to 6th and 7th grade students. If you are interested in this tutorial, you can download it in the marketplace, and also make sure to grab the teacher PDF and not the student, because the teacher PDF has more and better explanations. It comes with 5 lessons, each one has an estimated time of an hour for completion. It took me about 2 hours to do them all, so they're pretty easy to follow. And this is what the project looks like. You will get this character and this fully textured map. This tutorial did not have any coding involved, Unreal did all the coding for you. But this tutorial is really good to get you started with Unreal Engine. It covers the basics of using the engine, as well as explaining game fundamentals. For example, in the first lesson, you learn about collision. This platform here didn't have any collision, and I would just fall through it if I stepped on it. But now it has collision, and I won't fall through it. In this section, the tutorial also teaches you about duplicating objects in the world. That was my first challenge, to duplicate the platform and get to the other side. And every lesson after this was pretty much the same thing. It will teach you 1 or 2 things about making games. I also learned about placing objects in the world. I placed these 2 platforms to get across this gap. I learned about placing a kill box at the bottom of the level. So if I fall off, I will just restart at the beginning of the level. Once again, I didn't code any of this. Unreal already did it for you. Lesson 2 was about adding checkpoints in the game. So now if I activate the checkpoint and fall off, I won't restart at the beginning. I will start from the last checkpoint. This is also where I learned about animating objects in the world. Not the best animation, but hey, now I know how to do it. Later, we were introduced to pickups and power-ups. With the power-ups, we can jump higher. The tutorial also has you creating a HUD where you can see what you collected. Then you learn about keys. As you can see, I couldn't continue because I needed a key to open the door. So I placed the key in the world, and once I picked it up, I was able to open the door. That pretty much covers the whole tutorial. This is a great place to start with game development. Then I went to the best school ever, YouTube University. I searched for Unreal Engine tutorials and I pretty much watched all of them. I found a few good ones and a lot of bad tutorials. I might add the best ones I found down in the description. This is when I realized that making a game is hard and very overwhelming. I can see why game companies that have thousands of people working on a game take years to release it. This is where I said, if I make my own game, it has to be small. Smaller than I thought. There is just a lot to learn and a lot to master, like creating 3D models, 3D animations, texturing,
UV mapping, rendering, exporting, baking, lighting, creating landscapes, materials, triggers, special effects, sound effects, soundtracks, explosions, idle animations, walking animations, running animations, jumping,
walking sideways, walking diagonally, crouching, and any type of movement you will do in the game. There's also creating and designing characters with full backstories, creating the main part of the game.
And all of this doesn't include coding and scripting to put and link all these assets together. And there's a lot more I didn't mention. At this point, I had 2 choices. 1, I could just give up and forget everything I learned. Or 2, the game I wanted to create that went from a large game to a small game had to be even smaller. I had to make a tiny,
mini, one-size
game. I went with the second option. but instead of making my game smaller, I just came up with a whole different idea for a game. Now the problem of free YouTube tutorial videos is that they're pretty much all over the place. YouTube tutorial videos don't have structure or organization because most people don't know what they're talking about, and if they do know what they're talking about, their best videos are behind the paywall. So I started looking for paid tutorials and I found one in Udemy that goes from the basics of Unreal to creating your first games. These tutorials are much better, they have structure and organization, and most of the time the instructor has experience teaching and using the product themselves for many years. With this tutorial, I ended up making 3 games and each one was focused on something different like movement, pickups, or aiming. They also went over blueprints, which are Unreal Engine's node-based scripts. Blueprints allow you to add nodes and the nodes tell the game what to do, and this is how you make a game without coding and without coding experience. Unity also has node-based scripts. From my understanding, using code is better than using blueprints or nodes, so if you want to become a game developer and work for a big AAA company, you have to learn code. But for beginners like myself, this is enough to start making games. After learning a bunch of things, I think I'm ready to start making my own game. There is still a lot I need to learn, but I can learn that as I go. I think I'll use this channel to give you updates on what I learned, as well as the game I'm creating. I'm not creating my dream game because I don't have the knowledge to create it. I'm making a smaller and simpler game. It will be an adventure game. I have already planned out most of it. Right now, I'm planning out the layout of the levels. I do know how many of them will be in the game. I also need to look into creating my assets. I will probably use Blender because it's free. Make sure to give this video a like if you want to see more and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video. I will continue to give you updates and help you make your own game as well. And I will leave you with some sketches I made for the main character, and on that note, I will say I'm not very good at drawing and you don't need good art skills to make a game. However, if you have good art skills, it will probably help you a lot. That's it for this video. See you next time.